Hey everyone, welcome to the latest installment of The Way It Is. I'm your host, Luca, Team Luca First, Remax Service First Realty. We're late October and we're doing the walk and talk because it's such a gorgeous day out here today. So remember, yes, if you like what you like, please press the like button, subscribe, ring the bell, do all those kinds of great things for us. That'd be greatly appreciated. So before we get into the topic of today's discussion, which is going to be around downsizing and things to consider when you should consider them, we got to recap, of course, because we're filming this on Tuesday, on the heels of the municipal election. So I won't get into all the district winners or councillors, but certainly from the mayoral side, I would have to say that it went as predicted or projected, I'm going to guess, with Mayor Brian Patterson getting a third term in office. I will give shout outs though to all of the candidates that we were fortunate to interview here on the podcast. I want to thank them for all their time. I want to thank them for participating in the process too. And all of them had what I would call, I guess, successful, at least turnouts in terms of their representation in their votes. So that's enough about that. So downsizing. When should you think about doing it? Why should you think about doing it? Well, invariably, the thought of downsizing always happens because you've been in a home that you've been in for, I don't know, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. My parents' generation, it was, 40 plus 50 years, right? They buy a home, you grow roots and have your kids and everybody takes off. And now invariably, one or two people are in a home that's far too large for them. It costs a lot to maintain. There's a lot of work to do around a house like that. Maybe the yard's too big. You got other components of the house. And also architecturally, the house just doesn't fit the needs now of an aging demographic. We're getting older. Stairs may become challenging. The houses aren't designed to have master bedrooms on the main floor if you want to have one floor living. So all of those factors come into consideration. So that's sort of the why part. Why would you think about doing that? The when part, well, those are kind of personal questions for sure, but I guess my biggest topic of conversation when I've had these conversations with clients is the biggest thing I can recommend to you is you want to make these kinds of decisions when you have the choice to make them, not when someone else is making these choices for you. Meaning that you certainly, obviously, God forbid, you want to suffer some kind of medical disability or health illness or something like that. So you certainly want to be able to be in control of the decisions that you're going to make and when you're going to make them. So first and foremost. Another component is obviously timing and market timing. Well, yes, the market has changed, but values are still decent. Values are strong. Okay, yeah, they're not January, February, March numbers like we always talk about, but they're still stronger than pre-pandemic value levels. So timing is good. The other good thing is inventory still remains low. So if you want to think about selling your house, there's still less inventory than there has been. So your home, depending on where and what it is, would gain more buyers. The other thing is, now, people contemplate staying in their home. Obviously, a lot of people would like to remain in their home, and there's lots of ads out there that you've seen about reverse mortgages and chip programs and all those kinds of things. I'm not saying they don't work. I'm not saying they're not for you, but I would just recommend you definitely do all the research and read all the fine print. In essence, what these reverse mortgages are is they come in, appraise your home, assess it. There's thresholds in terms of the levels of equity that they will lend you, and they cut you a check. However, the interest rates are quite high, and that interest accrues up until the time that you either leave your home or someone has to sell your home. And then all those funds are pretty much due instantaneously, and in some cases before the estate can even be settled. So those are just things you want to consider, because you're also banking on, depending on how much time you think you're going to spend in the home, you're banking on the hope that appreciation is going to be higher than the interest rate that they're charging you. And I would be very careful about that. Definitely do your research. I'm not saying they can't work for you, like I said before. The other thing is in-home care. A lot of people You know, if they don't have family around and they're empty nesters now, and your children are moved away in other centers, you're going to potentially need someone to come in and help with whatever. Help do the laundry, help prep a meal, help get you dressed. You know, I have a dear friend that requires in-home care on a daily basis. First off, private, I'm not saying that doesn't exist, but it's very expensive. If you go the route that's subsidized, well, as we all know, coming out of the pandemic, PSWs, frontline workers, there's less of them now. A lot of them found it very hard to work during those times, and so it's hard to find reliable care that you may need if you want to stay in your home. So, and again, I'm not trying to be fear-mongering here or anything like that, but these are all the variables that you want to start considering if this is something that's on the horizon. So what does that mean? Well, it means you need to have a conversation with professionals. You need to have the, you know, if this is something you want to consider, get all the information. Find out what your home might be worth. Find out what options you have available in terms of these different resources if you're thinking you want to stay in your home. Maybe you want to try to retrofit your home. You may need to find out, what does it cost to put a lift in? What does it cost to make a bedroom in the main floor, add a bathroom, those kinds of things. Knowing again, though, that we live in a world where supply chain issues still exist, cost of materials are still going up, finding good quality trades to do work in a timely fashion is still a struggle. So those are all things that you need to be aware of when we're doing this. And then you have, watch yourself, Ben, sorry. And then you may want to say, you know, the other part of this too is, where do I go? Well, you're right. Some people don't like condominium life because that sort of tends to be the default, right? Where you want to sell the big house, get into a one apartment style living. Well, that might not be for everybody, but there's other options out there. There's adult lifestyle homes that are built in and around the city of Kingston that are slab on grade, which are easy to maintain and easy to live in. There's townhome condominiums, don't have as many stairs. There's all kinds of options. And again, it boils down to where you want to live, what you think you're going to get for your house, how much you'd have to spend on the other end. And then also too, there's the renting component, which a lot of people have done. They've taken the equity while they can get it now, when the market has been strong, and they've simply gone into a rental, which, you know what, if you can get an all-inclusive rental, then you know that your bills are fixed now. You'd lock the key if you want to be a snowbird, or you want to travel for a while, or you want to visit family. You can just lock the door, it's in a secure building, and life is easy. No obligations, no worries about maintenance, no worries about anything. So those are the options that certainly can present themselves and are available. And there's certainly others as well but I don't want to get into all of the nitty-gritty now and give the whole thing. We will be giving a lunch and learn session at the Senior Center in the beginning of March, actually, of 2023. And at that time, we will be providing a full detailed information session about all of the, and fleshing out all of the details of all the components and aspects that I've just talked about here. So I just wanted to start that conversation, and certainly feel free to reach out to anyone, myself or the team, and we'd be more than happy to continue these conversations in person. Thanks for your time again, and we'll catch you on the next one.